What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to properly paint a brand new bumper. Now in my case, this bumper is already primed. If yours is not primed, then you have to do it yourself. You can search on YouTube, search on Google on how to prime a bumper properly, or just prime any body panel in general. It's not that hard, but in my case, mine is primed. So this video is only going to cover the painting itself. Now basically what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 layers of paint. We're going to put one layer, let it dry. Once it's dry, place the other layer, and so on and so forth. Once that's done, we are going to put a coat of sealing. Let it dry, put another one, and we can do that for about 2-3 times, maybe even 4. Now this is what I'm using, guys. I'm using this spray can Rust-Oleum American Accents 2x Ultra Cover. It's flat white, which matches the color of the vehicle, and made by the same company. I'm also using this sealant right here. Now you guys are probably thinking, wait a minute, why is this guy using that? Well, I'm trying to show you guys the cheapest way possible to do this kind of job. Alright, if you guys want to invest in something better, like a spray gun, you know, and actually do a more professional level, then you can go ahead and do that. This is just the cheapest way for you to do it, and it still looks good. Alright, now this bumper, I got it off of Amazon for about $80. Did not include shipping, but I mean, they didn't charge shipping because it's over their minimum price before they charge you shipping. And it's probably the best deal you guys are going to find out there. I'll make sure to put the link in the description below. Now there are some websites in which they sell it already painted for you, but typically they charge you a ridiculous amount of shipping. I remember one of them charged me about 140 bucks. So this is the cheapest way you can go. $80 for a brand new bumper, already primed, and all you got to do is paint it, which both of those bottles cost me around $3.60 something cents. So all in all, I'm not breaking $7 before taxes. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to wet sand. I'm sorry, guys. We are going to wet sand the bumper. That way the paint actually has something to grab onto whenever it gets laid on the bumper, and then we'll go from there. This is what I'll be using, guys. I'll be using 2000 grit sandpaper and a spray bottle. You know, you guys don't have to use exactly what I'm using, especially with the sandpaper. It is recommended to use 1000 grit. I was having a hard time trying to find 1000. I don't know how the stores work, but they had 2000, not 1000. So that's what I got. Now I could have ordered it online, but you know, trying to get my wife's bumper fixed before she gets anything from like law enforcement or anything, because it's starting to fall off pretty bad. So I got me this 2000 grit sandpaper, and I got some water right here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the sandpaper itself, and then I'm going to spray the bumper with water. I'm just going to gently sand it in circular motions all around. I'm going to work by section, so I'm going to do this section first, then I'm going to do another one, and then another one, work all the way to the other end of the bumper. And at the end, I'm just going to do horizontal scrapes like this. I'm going to do horizontal motions. That way the paint, if it starts to fall off this way, whatever, or that way, it has something to grab on. And over here, I'll slightly do it the opposite way. Don't want to do it strictly perpendicular to over here, because then you're going to be able to notice that. But I just want to, you know, kind of angle it up a little bit. That way the paint actually has something to grab onto. But that's basically what I'm going to do, guys. I'll show you once I'm done how it looks. Real quick, guys, one thing I do want to say is whenever you're sanding this, you don't want to press too hard. You just want to slightly, you know, gently go in circular motions. Notice I'm not pressing too hard. I'm barely even touching the sandpaper. I'm just gently sanding it, circular motions. All I'm doing is just giving some grip to the bumper. That way the paint doesn't just fall off, kind of like that water is doing right there. Now obviously the viscosity of paint is a little thicker, way thicker than water actually, so it won't do that as much, but you still want to give it some friction, something to hold on to. And it gives you an opportunity to clean off your bumper in case, you know, it's got some dust, it's got some dirt on it, some, I don't know, dog hairs. My wife just let the dogs in through the garage and I already found like 2 dog hairs on my bumper and they didn't even touch it. So that's all you're doing, guys. You're not really going for taking off the primer. I mean, some of it is gonna fall off, but you know, the main focus here is not to take the coat of primer off. It's just to give some friction, some grip to the bumper. And we are pretty much done. I just got to do this portion right here and I will be good to go with the next step. Alright guys, for this next step you are going to want to use some gloves. Reason being, we just sand the bumper mainly to give it some grip so that the paint doesn't really roll off, but also to clean it of any debris, any dirt, dust that's on the bumper from the shipping. So you already did all this effort in sanding it. You don't want to ruin it by touching it with your bare hands and having some dirt or anything on your hands. You know, even the oils on your hands can mess up the paint job. So you want to use some gloves. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab this towel, which by the way I got these from AutoZone. I think they're pretty cool. We're going to use this towel and we're just going to dry up the bumper. Not necessarily all the way, just the majority. That way it doesn't take as long to dry. And then once that is done, then we will move on to our next step, which is actually starting the paint job. And we are done, guys. It is now all the way dry. It is ready to be painted on. Now, before I start, I'm going to tell you the technique I'm going to use because it's kind of hard to demonstrate with one hand. I will still attempt though. What you want to do is you want to be about 6, probably 8 to 10 inches away from the bumper itself, and you want to do 1, stop, spray across just like this. You know, make sure you get in the grooves right here. There, we got a dog hair right in there. And this is why you overlook your work. But yeah, you don't want to be too close to the paint because then you're going to spray too much on there at once and then it's going to start to drip and it's just going to look bad. You want to be kind of far away and just do light coats just like this all the way across. Once you're done, you let it dry. Then you're going to do that about 2, maybe 3 more times depending on how it looks. But here to demonstrate, I'm going to start right down here. Shake it up a little bit. And here we go. There it's going, guys. Notice how I'm not going for perfection right now because this is the bottom coat. Now, if you have too dark of spots, obviously paint over those. But yeah, you're not going for perfection right now, guys. Right now you're just putting a layer over the bumper. You're gonna come back and do it again 2-3 more times and it's gonna look perfect. But I will finish this and then we will continue on. There you have it, guys. There's the first coat. Now notice how I didn't go for perfection. Like I mentioned before, we are not going for perfection right now. Right now what we're trying to do is we're trying to put a base of white, pretty much try and make it even. I mean, obviously it's not going to be perfect. Like I said, right now you're just trying to put that coat. Now if you have areas that are a little too dark, like we have this area right over here, then just come back to it real quick and just paint over it just like that. And we have another area right here, just paint over it right quick. And that's what you want to do, guys. You just want to put a nice base of color. That's all you're doing. And once you are completely done, you're going to let this sit for about 15-30 minutes. I recommend waiting 30 minutes, hell, maybe even longer. Let the paint really dry. And then once you are done, then you are ready to put your next layer and then the next one and the next one until you get it perfect. Typically it's going to take about 3-4 coats of paint, so You know, don't be waiting to make this happen real quick within the first 2 coats. And there is the second layer, guys. I mean, would you look at that? It's already starting to look real nice and shiny. I mean, it looks a lot better than when we first started. This is what you should look like after your second layer. Now notice we still have black spots on the bumper, which is fine. That's stuff we're gonna have to work on. But I mean, look at that. It looks so much better right now. I am guessing we are gonna have to apply probably 2 more coats, so it's gonna total up to about 4 coats of paint, which is fine. You know, that is expected when you're doing paint job. But right now we're gonna let this baby sit for about 30 minutes, and then we will come back to it and put another layer. We are almost done with the paint job, guys. Now, as you can see, it's looking pretty good so far. There seems to be a few dark spots. It's kind of hard to tell because we're in a room where it's not very illuminated. So a good trick to seeing if you need some more paint on an area is you get a flashlight. This is my headlamp. You know, I couldn't find my flashlight, so I just got this headlamp. But you just want to look at an area and illuminate it. You know, kind of see what it looks like. Now, you guys can't see, but right here where my flashlight is flashing, there's a few dark spots, so I'm gonna have to go over that on my 4th and final layer. And then you just keep doing that, guys. You just keep illuminating around. Just look how everything's going. You know, just pretty much do this, guys. Just go over with your flashlight. Anything that seems a little too dark, just spray over it right quick. And that will be your final layer. Once that's done, then we're gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna put a coat of seal on it, and then that'll do the job. Alright, guys, and there we have it. It is done, with one exception. I still have to spray some of that clear coat on this, but I mean, look at it. It's just wow. Without the clear coat, it just looks amazing. After that final coat, by the way, guys, that last coat that I did, the 4th coat, it was literally just looking around to see if there's like a dark spot. If there is, just spray some paint on there, and then just pretty much detail working. It wasn't so much like spraying all over the body. But I mean, this looks amazing. It's nice and dry already. I let it dry for about 2 hours, and I mean, it's just looking great, you guys. And it only took me 2 spray cans of Rust-Oleum American Accents 2x Ultra Cover. Alright, this one is completely empty now. This is done. But this one over here still has a little bit of life. You guys can hear the difference. So now the final step is to apply this clear coat. Notice how this one is semi-gloss. The only reason why I'm doing semi-gloss is because I'm only doing the front bumper on my wife's car. I'm not doing the entire car. I'm not repainting the entire vehicle. So I don't want this to really stick out as being super white, super glossy, and the rest of the car looking all dirty and stuff. So there you have it, guys. That's pretty much it. I will apply this and we will be done. I don't need to go over that because it's just like applying the paint. So you guys already know how to do that. But hey, give it a thumbs up if this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions, any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you do have questions, I will try to answer them as soon as I can. Alright, guys, till next time.